Hi, everyone. This is Benjamin from English Classes Online. In today's lesson, we are going to look at how to write advantages and disadvantages essay. And this will enable you to master the keys to success in the IELTS academic writing. Let's dive into the lesson right away and begin to do justice to this topic. Let's begin with types of questions, different types of questions in the IELTS academic writing. We have opinion essays that will ask you to agree or disagree or give an opinion. Then we have the problem essays that will require you to look at a social problem and suggest a solution to it. Then we have advantages and disadvantages essays. And we have discussion essays in which you are asked to discuss both points of view. Okay. Then you have double question essays. Now, let's look at how you can plan your essay when the question is for you to discuss the advantages and disadvantages. Let's look at a past IELTS question, and the question is as follows. A lot of places in the world rely on tourism as a main source of income. Unfortunately, tourism can also be a source of problems if it is not well managed. What are the advantages and disadvantages of tourism in the modern world? Do you think that the benefits of tourism outweigh its drawbacks? So you see, there are two types of questions in the, advantages and disadvantages question type. If you look at this question, you are required to discuss the advantages and disadvantages. And in addition to that, you are also required to give an opinion. Okay, do you think that the benefits of tourism outweigh its drawbacks? In some advantages and disadvantages essays, you might simply be asked to discuss the advantages and disadvantages without giving an opinion. So today we want to look at the question that requires you to give the advantages and disadvantages and go beyond that and give an opinion. Now let's look at how to plan this type of essay. The steps to take are as follows. Number one, understand the question type. This is very important. And number two, identify the key points. What are the key points? First of all, understand the topic. For example, the topic here is tourism. You are to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of tourism. So that is the topic. The next thing is for you to understand the instruction and the question. Normally, if you look at the question, what are the advantages and disadvantages of tourism in the modern world? See, this is the question. Do you think that the benefits of tourism outweigh its drawbacks? Okay, so you can see that you have three uh, three key points that are contained in the question. The first is advantages, the next one is disadvantages, and then the next is opinion. So in this case, you are going to state your opinion. In my opinion, the benefits of tourism outweigh its drawbacks. So you have to decide, okay, and give an opinion, because the question is, do you think that the benefits of tourism outweigh its drawbacks? If you say yes, then you have to actually explain, okay, quite briefly. Then step number 3, you write a simple introduction, okay? In writing your simple introduction, these are the steps you have to follow. You have to give the background statement, and to do that, you need to paraphrase the given general statement or statements. Of course, you have the general statement there. The first part of the question is usually the general statement. A lot of places in the world rely on tourism as a main source of income. That is the first general statement. Then there's a second general statement. Unfortunately, tourism can also be a source of problems if it is not well managed. So these are the general statements. And to start your introductory paragraph, you give the background statement by paraphrasing the given statements, okay? You paraphrase the general statements that form part of the question, okay? That's the first thing you do in order to get your introductory paragraph. Then the next thing is the thesis statement. In this case, you have to give your opinion. For example, in your thesis statement, you are going to make it clear that you are going to discuss the advantages and disadvantages, as well as give your opinions. Okay, so that should be your thesis statement. Your thesis statement is your answer, and it is usually an introduction to the ideas that you are going to discuss in the body of the essay. That's exactly. You can say, for example, while examining the advantages and disadvantages of tourism, I will be presenting my views on which side outweighs the other. We are going to look exactly at how you can do this correctly. Then the fourth step is to write the body of your essay. In that case, you are going to discuss 2 main points in 2 paragraphs. And then finally, you have to write the conclusion by rewriting the background statement and reemphasizing your opinion. Okay? So this is what will form part of your pre-writing work. To write a good essay, there are 3 main steps. Number 1, pre-writing. Number 2, writing. And number 3, rewriting. Now, pre-writing is simply the planning aspect when you prepare and then organize your ideas, because writing a good essay is like building a good house. And before you build a good house, you have to have a building plan. So to write a good essay, you need a writing plan, okay? So we have gone through the planning process. The next thing is now for us to look at how we can write the essay, beginning with the introduction. Every good essay has 3 main parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. So let's begin with the introduction. Let's look at the question once again. A lot of places in the world rely on tourism as a main source of income. Unfortunately, tourism can also be a source of problems if it is not well managed. These are the general statements, okay? What are the advantages and disadvantages of tourism in the modern world? Do you think that the benefits of tourism outweigh its drawbacks? These are the questions. And the questions are asking for advantages and disadvantages plus an opinion. So let's now look at how you get your introductory paragraph. The first thing is to paraphrase the general statements. Now, you can paraphrase the general statements as follows. In various parts of the world, tourism is being developed as a major source of revenue. Today, tourism yields a lot of economic and social benefits to all countries, although it has a few drawbacks. You see, look at the general statements. A lot of places in the world rely on tourism as a main source of income. Unfortunately, tourism can also be a source of problems if it is not well managed. These are the general statements, and we have reconstructed these statements into our own. This is what we mean by paraphrasing. And then let me read our paraphrasal once again. In various parts of the world, tourism is being developed as a major source of revenue. Today, tourism yields a lot of economic and social benefits to all countries, although it has a few drawbacks. So it's the same meaning that we have in the general statement, only we have reconstructed, we have paraphrased these general statements to begin our introductory paragraph. That's the first step. Then the second step is for you to give your thesis, okay? Now, the paraphrase statements will form your opening statements in the introductory paragraph, what we can call your background information, okay? And then your thesis will give your main opinion, all right? Your thesis in every essay is that sentence that shows the reader what you are going to write, what your essay is all about. That is your viewpoint, okay? Now, this is how you can get your thesis right. In this essay, and of course, how do you get your thesis? You get your thesis as a direct response to the question. Now look at the question. You know, what are the advantages and disadvantages of tourism in the modern world? Do you think that the benefits of tourism outweigh its drawbacks? These are the questions. So what the thesis statement does is that your thesis statement gives a direct answer to the question, and at the same time highlights your opinion about the topic. You know, you are, by your thesis statement, you are telling the reader, this is what I want to say about the whole topic, all right? And here is how we can do it. In this essay, I will examine the advantages and disadvantages of tourism before concluding with a final opinion, okay? In this essay, I will examine the advantages and disadvantages of tourism before concluding with a final statement. So this here is a typo here, so it's disadvantages, okay? So this is exactly your thesis. Your thesis shows what you want to say, okay? That is your thesis, is your central argument. That is the message you want to convey about the entire topic. Everything you want to write is based on this thesis statement. Now let's look at our full paragraph. Don't forget that the paraphrased general statement plus the thesis will give us our complete introduction. You know, the introductory paragraph is the first paragraph of your essay. And when we combine the two, here is what we have. In various parts of the world, tourism is being developed as a major source of revenue. Today, tourism yields a lot of economic and social benefits to all countries, although it has a few drawbacks. In this essay, I will examine the advantages and disadvantages of tourism before concluding with a final opinion. So this is the introduction, okay? And then this brings us to the body of the essay. And then here is how you plan the body of your essay as well, okay? Now, the body paragraph begins in the essay paragraph 2, okay? And this is the first paragraph in the body of your essay. So in the body of your essay in paragraph 2, you discuss the advantages, okay? And then in the next paragraph, you discuss the disadvantages, okay? Then in the conclusion, you are going to discuss your opinion, okay? That's the way to plan a good essay. So let's look at how you get the first part of your body of the essay. And here you are going to talk of the advantages. Now, here we are going to discuss two advantages, and then we discuss two disadvantages, and then we give our opinion in the concluding paragraph. Now, here is what we can say in the advantages of tourism. One of the greatest benefits of tourism is that it boosts the country's economy. When tourists come into the country, they need to buy various products and services such as food, shopping, hotel accommodation, transportation, flights, and so forth. In this way, thousands of citizens gain extra income from the tourists, and this contributes greatly to the country's economy. Another benefit of tourism is that it creates more employment opportunities for the citizens. Apart from the people that are needed to work in the various tourist spots, more people are employed as booking agents, transportation personnel, hotel and restaurant workers, and so forth. Thus, tourism offers great benefits to any country as well as its local population. Okay, so that's the way it is. Now, let's look at the second part of the body paragraph. So this is body paragraph 2, but we know it is the third paragraph of the whole essay because paragraph 1 is introduction, paragraph 2 is the first body paragraph, paragraph 3 is the second body paragraph. And here we are going to discuss the disadvantages. And here's what we can say about the disadvantages of tourism. However, tourism has some disadvantages as well. One of them is environmental pollution. Because tourist centers receive thousands of visitors, they tend to receive large amounts of trash, such as food containers, waste bottles, cosmetic packages, cigarette packets, and so forth. Another drawback of tourism is the increase in criminal activities. Tourists often become targets for criminals and thieves who want to dispossess them of their money, jewelry, electronic devices, and other expensive items. This often leads to a growth of criminal activities in such places, you see. So we have discussed the advantages and disadvantages of tourism. And so here is what we can have when we put the two together, okay? The two paragraphs. One of the greatest benefits of tourism is it boosts the country's economy. Well, we have read them, so you see these two are the two paragraphs. We have just separated them from, you know, the the first display of how they come. You know, body paragraph 1 is essay paragraph 2, body paragraph 2 is essay paragraph 3. Okay, so, and then we extract them as separate paragraphs. Now, having looked at that, let's now go straight to the conclusion. Now, in our conclusion, we just rewrite the general statement. There are two things we need to do, just as we did in the introduction. In the introduction, we paraphrase the general statement, all right? In the conclusion, that our paraphrased version is what we will rewrite again, because it will look monotonous if we simply bring down the exact statement. So we have to rewrite the general statement, which in the first place we had paraphrased from the general statements contained in the question. So if you understand this simple procedure, then you can write a very high scoring essay in any exam, okay? Now, in rewriting the general statement, this is what we can have. Now, before I read what we will rewrite, let me show you what we have in the, let me show you what we have. Okay, this is what we paraphrased here, and that's what we are going to rewrite for our concluding paragraph. In various parts of the world, tourism is being developed as a major source of revenue. Today, tourism yields a lot of economic and social benefits to all countries, although it has a few drawbacks. This is the general statement we paraphrased. Okay, and then this is our thesis. We are going to include our thesis, you know, alongside our rewritten general statement. So let us look at the thesis so that when we look at the concluding paragraph, you see how we have also brought it into our conclusion. In this essay, I will examine the advantages and disadvantages of tourism before concluding with a final opinion. Here, we are not going to bring this down as it is, but we are going to now give our opinion, because as we mentioned here, we are going to conclude with a final opinion. That final opinion is what we are going to include in our conclusion, together with the general statement we paraphrased, which we are going to rewrite. So having said that, let's now move to our concluding paragraph. Let's begin with rewriting the general statement. Here is what we can do in rewriting the general statement. Although tourism comes with some negative effects, you see how we have changed certain things. It certainly offers a lot of positive contributions to the country's economic growth, employment, and business opportunities for the local population. It also promotes education, encourages cultural exchange, and boosts information technology. You see, we have expanded, we have actually, because in our opinion, we are going to say that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Okay, so for this reason, we are going to show that it actually outweighs, and that is the reason why we have a little bit expanded the scope here. Then the next thing is for us to re-emphasize the opinion. You see, we have given an opinion, but we are going to re-emphasize it. It is obvious that governments can easily put some measures in place to fix the few negative effects of tourism. We agree that tourism has a few negative effects, but again, to project our opinion that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, we are saying that even the few negative effects of tourism can be fixed. They can be solved easily. And if the government can fix those problems, then of course they are no longer to be considered a problem at all. Then, in my opinion, therefore, the advantage of tourism far outweighs its disadvantages. Okay, so ignore some typos here. In my opinion, therefore, the advantages of tourism far outweigh its disadvantages. Okay, now when we combine the rewritten general statement with the re-emphasized opinion, what we have is as follows. Although tourism comes with some negative effects, it certainly offers a lot of positive contributions to the country's economic growth, employment, and business opportunities for the local population. It also promotes education, encourages cultural exchange, and boosts information technology. It is obvious that governments can easily put some measures in place to fix the few negative effects of tourism. In my opinion, therefore, the advantages of tourism far outweigh its disadvantages, okay? Now, we have gone through the simple process. I want us to now look at the complete essay. And in looking at the complete essay, let's again look at the question. A lot of places in the world rely on tourism as a main source of income. Unfortunately, tourism can also be a source of problems if it is not well managed. What are the advantages and disadvantages of tourism in the modern world? Do you think that the benefits of tourism outweigh its drawbacks? Now, here is the complete essay, and here we begin with the introduction. This is paragraph 1. In various parts of the world, tourism is being developed as a major source of revenue. Today, tourism yields a lot of economic and social benefits to all countries, although it has a few drawbacks. In this essay, I will examine the advantages and disadvantages of tourism before concluding with a final opinion. One of the greatest benefits of tourism is that it boosts the country's economy. When tourists come into the country, they need to buy various products and services such as food, shopping, hotel accommodation, transportation, flights, and so forth. In this way, thousands of citizens gain extra income from the tourists, and this contributes greatly to the country's economy. Another benefit of tourism is that it creates more employment opportunities for the citizens. Apart from the people needed to work in the various tourist spots, more people are employed as booking agents, transportation personnel, hotel and restaurant workers, and so forth. Thus, tourism offers great benefits to any country and its local population. However, tourism has some disadvantages as well. One of them is environmental pollution. Because tourist centers receive thousands of visitors, they tend to receive large amounts of trash, such as food containers, waste bottles, cosmetic packages, cigarette packets, and so forth. Another drawback of tourism is that is the increase in criminal activities. Tourists often become targets for criminals and thieves who want to dispossess them of their money, jewelry, economic devices, and other expensive items. This often leads to a growth of criminal activities in such places. Although tourism comes with some negative effects, it certainly offers a lot of positive contributions to the country's economic growth, employment, and business opportunities for the local population. It also promotes education, encourages cultural exchange, and boosts information technology. It is obvious that governments can easily put some measures in place to fix the few negative effects of tourism. In my opinion, therefore, the advantages of tourism far outweigh its disadvantages. Okay, so this is exactly the simple process of writing an essay on advantages and disadvantages. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, of course, I expect you to comment in the comments box and let me know exactly your benefits from the essay. If you enjoyed this process, then like the essay, okay? I mean, like the video. And if you have any comments, if you have any questions or suggestions, you can kindly leave them in the comment section below. If you are able to browse through the description section, you might find some of the resources included there quite useful for your preparation. I mean, if you have not, of course, signed up for a program for the IELTS, if you know, we have a complete IELTS training program that helps those who are going to take the test to prepare adequately for the test. So if you are going to sit the exam, then you will find a link that you can click on in order to join our training program. That will help you tremendously because here on this channel, when we prepare our students for any exam, we make sure they are adequately prepared. And for the IELTS test, we make sure that our students are so adequately prepared that when they enter the exam with full confidence, feeling very comfortable because they know exactly what to do. Now, we have an alternative program, and that is for Duolingo English test. It's an alternative to the IELTS test, okay? A number of students are signing up for Duolingo English test because quite a lot of students find that easier, and also it is more affordable in terms of the fees, okay? So if you want to take the Duolingo English tests instead of the IELTS, you will also find a link in the description box. You can join our Duolingo English test training program, okay? If you are one of our viewers and subscribers and you are interested in setting up your own online teaching business and do exactly what we are doing here on English Classes Online so that you can create multiple streams of income for yourself on various platforms, then of course you can use a blueprint to set up your own online teaching business. You will find a link in the description box and that will help you to join our training program as well, so that you will follow the simple process, follow the blueprint, and be able to sign up for this particular program. So this is exactly how it has been in today's video. I look forward to seeing you in the next class. Goodbye for now, and remain blessed. shine to like something. This is for. Not